back. My next guest tonight has appeared in over 80 films, including the classics The Magnificent Seven, The Great Escape, and Our Man Flint. Now, currently, you can see him in Affliction, a performance that is getting overwhelming critical praise. Please welcome James Coburn. Thanks so much for coming.
Oh,
we love it that you're here. You know, I was watching, actually, last night, one of the Our Man Flint, which is a great, great movie, great classic 60s super spy movie.
Yeah, it was fun.
And I heard that Mike Myers, when he was doing Austin Powers, based some of the character on Our Man Flint. Is that right?
Well, I don't know, he said he had a smile that, he said, this is a smile that I think Coburn would look like when he was having sex. Maybe he's right, I don't know.
Well, take a picture, yeah. You have an amazing voice as well, which I think people hear it subliminally because you do so many ads, you do voiceovers in ads now, and you have this great voice. And I think probably the most famous one you do is the Like a Rock commercials for
Chevy trucks. Yeah.
Chevy trucks.
Like a rock.
Now, do you always do it the same way? Are there different ways you do it, or do you always give that like a rock?
No, it varies a bit because there's the SUV. That's basically the big thing, the ballsy one, the Suburban.
Right.
But then there are the the SUVs that the girls drive around. That's more like a rock. And
are there more, I hope?
Oh yeah, sure. There's several. So it's just a variation on the same theme.
Right.
Like a rock sometimes. We haven't quite gotten there
Never
yet.
heard that. Or for like the low-key car.
Yeah.
Like a rock.
Yeah,
kind of like a rockish, maybe. That must be fun. Do you just do that sometimes? You just catch your reflection in the mirror, maybe when you're shaving, and go, like a rock.
No, they have to pay for that one.
You ever say Hyperion Bay?
Ah.
Just try that sometime. Let's talk about Affliction.
Yeah.
Because everyone's talking. A bunch of magazines are starting to say James Coburn is going to be nominated for an Oscar for his performance. And I don't want to jinx anything. I'm just trying to impress people that this is an amazing performance that you've put in. If you got an Oscar and you won, do you know how you would react, what you'd do at that moment?
God.
What if Chevy paid you a lot of money? Would you turn at that moment?
Like a rock.
I'm sure they'd give you a lot of money.
No, I don't know, but that's it. It's so you think, well, just the work is good and everything, but there's so much politics and there's all of that behind the scenes. You never know anything about it. The one good thing about the Academy, the actors will vote for the actors and for the nominations anyway. And so there's a chance, So.
I think there is a chance, which is extremely exciting. The role, this is a very unlikable. This is one of the most unlikable characters I've seen anybody play. Were you worried about doing that? About making the character in this movie so unlikable? I mean, he's just a bastard. Yeah,
I know he really is. No, but I wasn't playing. You can't play a bastard. What you do is play somebody who wants something really bad and then just go for it. And that's what I did here. I wanted my sons to be, not wimps. I wanted them to be men, like my old man was a real man, and that sort of thing. And that the affliction is that thing that carries over from generation to generation, especially in the males. I guess the females have
specifically
a different kind of thing.
In this movie, you play just a really, alcoholic, real terrible alcoholic, and that's what you're struggling, and a bad dad. And there's not one likable thing about this character at a time when everyone's making movies where, they're playing, he's lovable, he's likable, you want to take him home, girls love him, guys love him, and you're playing a guy who's just awful.
Yeah. A little variety, a little spice in life.
Right, every now and then. One of my, I've always wanted to ask you about, you studied Kung Fu in the 60s under Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
He was your teacher.
Yeah.
How many people can say that? And I remember there was actually a time when it was the actors who were studying under Bruce Lee. It was you, it was Steve McQueen, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Were the three that were studying.
And Chuck Norris was studying too. He was with him. Chuck had some technique, but Bruce's technique was so unusual and so fast, and there was no defensive movements in it at all. It was all out,
right.
All out there, and it was he was so fast you couldn't touch him.
Now, how about if you had had a kung fu fight with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? What do you think would happen? I mean, he'd be hard. I think he'd be tough because.
What we would do is we'd practice side kicks together. I mean, can you imagine me kicking Abdul? I'd have to, you know, like really stand on it. Well, we do high side kicks.
Were you allowed to use a chair during the fights?
That seemed like.
I brought one with me.
He was, but being kicked by Abdul-Jabbar. Can you imagine what that feels like? He would, you know, we'd have these this kind of like a, I don't know, it was like a big inner tube, but it was quite hard, and everything was, and so we'd be kicking this thing, and he would kick me, and or he'd kick me, you know, he'd just pick you up because of the technique, you know, bang, he kept up like that, and he'd just pick me up and they'd throw me back there about 4 or 5 feet, and then I'd get a chance to kick him. Right. I never moved him.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ever use this in your private life? They say that, you know, the big philosophy is you must not use it, you must know it, but you must never use it. If I knew Kung Fu, I'd be using it all the time. I'd just be pounding people left and right on the street. That's just me. I'm physically a coward.
Then you should learn it. Then you would never have a fight.
Right.
No,
right.
I've never had to use it at all. Mm-hmm. But I know that I, you know, when you have a technique, you can, you know how to use it. It doesn't leave you. It's like riding a bicycle.
Right. You'll always have it.
You'll always have it.
When you're like 110 years old, if someone's messing with you in the home,
that's right.
Bang!
That's right.
Out the window.
Yeah, it's all very simple and just requires. The great thing about Bruce's technique and Bruce's teaching, he would teach you according to what your abilities were. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you had a good side kick, a good punch, whatever. So he would create a technique around that particular thing. And he was great. We had a great time. You know,
well,
I loved
it's amazing. You know, it's just like you should pass that on to some other people, I would think, if you can.
Well,
or write it down or something, just because there aren't that many people who learned under him, I would think. Affliction is in theaters right now. Yeah. And we're all rooting for you because it's an incredible performance.
Well,
and
thank you.
We're really glad you could come back on the show and make time for us.
Well, listen, anytime I can.
James Coburn.
Thank you.
Check out the movie. It's called Affliction. We'll take a break. When we come back, Fear of Pop, featuring Ben Folds and a very special guest. We'll see you in a second.